ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तिशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य तोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषु भिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, chapter number 15th, verse number 1. It's a dialogue between Maitreya and Vidura about the questions which Vidura had asked to Maitreya regarding creation. And in that dialogue, the story came of Kashyap and Aditi. So Maitreya is continuing to speak what happened after that. Maitreya uvacha प्राजापत्यं तु तत्तेजः परतेजोहनं दितिः दधार वर्षाणि शतं शङ्कमानासुरार्दनात्. So when Diti became pregnant, then she held the pregnancy for 100 years. Long time. So Diti was having the seed from Kashyap, which was very powerful, and it was overpowering the prowess of others. It was so powerful, and therefore doubting, she was holding it inside, Surardhanath, that if they take birth, then they may kill the Suras because they are powerful, or Surardhanath could mean that they could be killed by the Suras. So she must have some power to hold the pregnancy, because usually a woman does not have any say in that. Whenever the child has to be born, has to be born. But see, here it is clearly said that for 100 years she was carrying the pregnancy. So was problematic for her or she was enjoying, I don't know. And there were twins inside, so it must be quite heavy. And if the birth has to be given after 10 months, that means they grew to the size after 10 months, and then she has to carry all this weight for 100 years minus 10 months. So 99 years, 2 months. So this was quite a tapasya on her part. And she was powerful enough to do this. So she was concerned that if they take birth, and as it was already predicted by Kashyap, that these two sons are going to be very troublesome. It's like some hyperactive kids that break everything around. So as soon as they take birth, then they will create trouble. So she was holding the trouble for 100 years at least. Therefore it says that Shankamana is having this doubt whether she should give birth or not. And loke tena hata loke lokpala hatau jasaha navedayat vishvasrije dhvanta vyatikaram dasha. So all around there was darkness because of this. It's like in Sankhya class we read that one of the things we cannot see something is if it is overpowered by another thing. Like you see the stars in the sky at night, but you don't see the same stars in daytime, although there are stars, because they are subdued by the light of the sun. So the power of these two brothers was so strong that they created darkness all around. They were so brilliant that this light outside became like no light. And Lokapala Hataujasa, and all the protectors of the directions, they lost all their prowess. They became very weak and faded. They were not brilliant anymore. Deva, the very word Deva means which has light, which shines. But now they were not shining. So then what did they do? They went to Lord Brahma, Vishvasrija, the creator, Dhvanta Vyatikaram Desham. Seeing all around there was darkness. It became like if you go to Norway, and then it is night all the time. You don't see the sun for 6 months. So something like that it happened. So then they approached Lord Brahma, because Lord Brahma is the person with whom they can go and give their complaint. He's supposed to help them. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Suraihi prishto vidhistatvam vaktum ditistanu jayoho shapam panchadase Vishnu papador viprato bhyabhat. So in this 15th chapter there is a description that how the Suras, the gods, they approached Vidhi, Lord Brahma, and who explained to them about the history of sons of Diti and how they were cursed by the associates, how they are actually the associates of the Lord, and they were cursed by the Vipras, the 4 Kumaras. Vishnu Parshado Viprato Shapam Abhidha described the curse of Jay and Vijay, these two associates of Lord Vishnu, by the 4 Kumaras. That is the description given in the 15th chapter. So it is very interesting how Bhagavatam is developing the philosophy. So there seems to be a simple dialogue between Vidura and Maitreya. Now the plot is getting thicker, as they say. So a lot of philosophy is coming now, philosophy of bhakti. And this 15th chapter is very important. It shows how Gyan Marg is inferior to bhakti. Because the Kumaras, they are meeting with Jay and Vijay and cursing of Jay and Vijay. This whole episode is very important to show that Kumaras were inferior to Jay and Vijay. Jay and Vijay are devotees and Kumaras are the best of Gyanis or Brahman realized people. So it's a very interesting chapter. So the previous chapter was talking about Kashyap and Diti who were following Karma Marga. And this chapter is talking about Kumaras who are also sons of Brahma and they are following Jnana Marga. And superiority of Bhakti is established on both. So Tator Ditar Garbhasya Ka Varta Iti Apekshayamaha. So what happened to the pregnancy of Diti? Expecting this question, because Vidura has not really asked any question, he is continuing. So he speaks this. Prajapatyam Prajapatahe Kashyapasya Sambandhi. So the seed was from Kashyap, who is also one of the Prajapati. Pareshan Tejo Hanti Iti Tatha Tat Pachadyach. And it was destroying the brilliance of others. Suranam Ardhanam Pildanam Tasmat Sankamana. So, fearing that these people will trouble the Suras, she did not want to give birth to them. Asura Ardhanad Vishnu Ritiva, or thinking that if they come out, then Lord will come and then they will be killed by Vishnu. Both meaning. Tatas Tadhastato Mrityu Sravanat. Because he has heard that they will be killed by Lord Vishnu. So, whichever she had in the mind, the end result was that she was carrying the babies in the womb for 100 years. And Dhvantena Vyatikaram Asangam. All around there was darkness. So Deva Uchu, the Devas, they spoke as follows to Brahma. Tamay tadvibho vetha samvigna yadvayam vrisham nahi avyaktam bhagavata kalena sprishta vartmanaha deva deva jagadhata lokanatha shikhamane paresham tvam bhutanamasi bhavavit. So they said that this darkness, O Lord, Vibho, means Master Lord, Tamayatad Vedthaya, you know this, Savignayad Vayam Vrisham, and we are very much disturbed by this darkness. Nahi avyaktam bhagavata kalena spishta vartmana. So, you are not disturbed by anything, aspishta vartmana, and bhagavata avyaktam, that time is known to you and it cannot diminish your knowledge. So nothing is hidden from you. Nahi avyaktam bhagavata. That whatever is the intention of the Lord or what is happening, it is not unknown to you. It is vyakta, it is manifest. So definitely you know about this darkness and we are very much afraid what is happening. So please let us know. So it was something like now there is a fear about change in environment, global warming. So global warming is going to create a lot of problems. So they are also thinking that this is global darkness. And it can bring the temperature down. Because if there is darkness, and there is cold, then there will be big glaciers, and things can freeze. So it was their worry. So they also went and had a meeting. It's like they're having this meeting in Copenhagen about environment. So such problems existed before also. And Asuras, that's what they do. So they said that Deva Deva Jagat Dhatar Lokanath Shikamani. So they are addressing him that you are Deva Dev, you are our worshipable, you are the creator of the world, and you are the crest jewel of all the masters or protectors of the world. Lokanath Shikamani. Paresham Aparesham Tvam Bhutanamasi Bhava. So you know the intention of everybody. Bhavavit means you know the heart of every living being, whether they are big or small. Paresham Aparesham. So therefore we have come to you. Vetha janasi eva yato bhagavata sarvagyasya tav kalena alupta jnana margasya. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti says that you are omniscient, and therefore your knowledge is not lost by the influence of time. Usually time makes us forget things. You know something, then you forget. You memorize certain things, then you forget. And if you take another birth, you forget everything. So in this life also we have forgotten many things. We remember few things and forget most of the things. So this is the effect of time. There is short memory, long memory. So it says Kalena Alupta Jnana Margas. But Brahma does not forget anything. He remembers everything. Lokanathanam Indradinam Shikhamana. And he is the champion of all the Lokanathas like Indra, Varuna, etc. Superior to all of them. So then they are continuing. Basically they are just prayers. Namo Vigyan Viryaya Maya Idam Peyushe Grihita Guna Bhedaya Namaste Avyakta Yonaye. So saying that our obeisances to you, you are full of power of knowledge, Vigyan Virya. And it is by Maya that you have accepted Rajogun, Rajas. And you have this form of 4 heads. Maya idam upayushe grihita guna bhedaya namaste avyakta yonaya. And your source is in avyakta. So avyakta yoni means that no one knows from where you come. Or avyakta is also name of Vishnu. Means you are born from Vishnu. That is another meaning of avyakta yoni. Ye tvananyena bhavena bhavayanti atma bhavanam atmani protabhunam param sadasadatmakam. Say that all the planetary systems are situated in you. Prota bhuvanam. Bhuvan is the planets and prota means they are inside, just like threads are in the cloth. So like that everything is within you. All this universe is inside the body of Brahma, and his body is in the form of cause and effect in all this universe, but he himself is beyond it. Ye tu ananyena bhavena bhavanti atam bhavanam Atmani Protobhunam Param Sadasadatmakam. So you are beyond Sat and Asat. cause and effect. And tesam supakvi yoganam jita swasendriyatmanam labdhyusmat prasadanam nakutaschit parabhava. So those who surrender to you, who are perfected in yoga, control their life, air and senses, and have attained your grace, then they are not defeated by anybody, because they have your grace. So they are not only that your knowledge is not lost, but even those who take shelter of you, they are great. So idam brahma deham upayase praptavate, we have accepted this form of Brahma, gun bhedo raja, and by your will you have accepted rajas. Avyaktaha parmeshvara eva yoni karanam yasya tasmai, and you are born from the Supreme Lord. We bow down to you. Tadapi ananyena parameshwaradi abhinnena bhavena yo hiranyagarbha upasana. So Brahma is not the Supreme Lord, but there are some people who are called worshippers of Hiranyagarbha. Brahma's one name is Hiranyagarbha. So these Hiranyagarbha upasakas, they worship Brahma as one with Vishnu, considering him as one with him. Or
same as Vishnu.
One with
One
Vishnu.
with Vishnu.
Not same. Ananya, or another meaning of Ananya is Ananyena Nishkamena Bhavena. All those who worship you without any material desires. Bhaktya bhavayanti dhyayanti atmano jivan bhavayati srishti tatha. And you are the one who creates all the living beings, because he is the samasti, jiva. Samastitvad atmani swasmin protani grathitani bhumani. So Brahma is the conglomeration of all the planets and all the jivas. That's why it's called Hiranyagarbha. Garbha also means womb. Like Diti is having Garbha. And inside Brahma's, all the souls are there, and souls are golden in color. Hiranya means gold. Like we have Hiranyaksha, who has his eye on the gold. Or Hiranyakashipu. And he is also Hiranyagarbha. So all the jivas inside him, and he brings them out. So he is called Hiranyagarbha. Ataha santo asantascha atmano devasuradhya jiva yasmintam. So therefore, Sadasa, the Atmakam, has another meaning here, that Deva, Asura, everybody is in Brahma. Therefore they were coming out from him. First the Kumaras came out. They were the first one to pop out. They were like very eager to jump out of him. Then Shiva came out. He was just waiting. Like eggs, they hatch. Then Marichi, Atri, Vasishtha, Bhrigu, all these people one by one. And finally Manu came, and Satrupa. And Narada came before. So they were all inside him. They were also in previous kalpa. Narada was there. So they go inside, they relax. Then they come out. So this is also Satkaryavan. Not going anywhere, going inside, coming out. Right?
Nothing new is ever created.
Nothing new is ever created. Everything is there. It's brought out. The only thing is that sometimes it is created in a different style. Like every day you make khichdi. Every day khichdi, but every day is different. Sometimes dry, sometimes wet. So same way Brahma creates. यस्य वाचा प्रजा सर्वा गावस्तन्त्यैव यन्त्रिताः हरन्ति बलिमायात्तास्तस्मै मुख्याय ते नमः. They say that we are paying obeisances to you. You are the chief. Mukhya means chief. And he says that everybody in this world is under the control of your speech, means the rule which you have set. Just like the cows are controlled by the rope. Of course, Kamala's cows are free. But you tie a cow with the rope, then you control the cow. She cannot run anywhere. Or you leave the rope and tie it, and then she goes around grazing, but she cannot go beyond the rope, the length of the rope. So it says Gava Tantyaiva Yantrita. Tanti means rope. So just like the rope controls the cow, Sarva Praja Yasya Vacha. The whole universe is being controlled by the words of Brahma, means the Vedic knowledge. So Vacha Veda Lakshana. Vacha or speech means in the form of Veda. Tatha cha Shruti. There is also statement in the Vedas like this. Tasya Vakatantir Namani Damani. His speech is the rope. So he controls everybody. He is the chief, and everybody is bringing their offerings to him. So now, this is the Vedic system. When you go to some big person, first you glorify him, and then you ask. Okay, this is the cycle. When you want to ask something from somebody, it's not that you go and immediately ask, give me this. First you say, oh Prabhu, you are very wonderful. So immediately his heart becomes soft. Then you say a few more nice words, and then you say, well, I was wondering if you could give me $100. Then you come to the point. So the Devas are also doing that. They have recited a few slokas, that you are great, you are wonderful, you are omniscient, omnipotent, you are the souls of everybody. We are like your children, controlled by you, bound by your rope. We bring our offering to you. Now, listen to the problem. Because nothing comes for free, even if it is praise. Somebody is praising you, become alert. He's going to ask you something. Otherwise, why would one praise you? Who are you? Why would one waste one's energy in praising somebody? So people are expert. So it says, Sattvam vidhastvam sambhumastam salupta karmanam adhabradaya drishtya apannanadhasi ikshitum. So it says that you are great, and now because there is no division of day and night, tamasa, and all the karma, the religious activities, they are getting lost. It's like I was saying that if you live in a place like Norway, then how you will do Sandhya? Or how you will observe Ekadasi there? Right? If for 6 months it is night, then when will the Ekadasi come? Or how you will observe Janmashtami or anything like this? So there will be problem, right? Or you have to do Mangalarti. So you are saying that you are doing Mangalarti and it is already blazing sun. So it is not Mangalarti, it's like noon arti. So that's what they are saying, that because of this darkness, There is loss of all karma. The ritualistic activities are all lost. How to perform them? Because there is no division of time, day and night. You have to get up in the morning and chant your Gayatri mantra. But if the morning is not coming, it remains dark all night and continues dark and dark and dark. Then when do you chant? Okay, you sleep 6 hours, 8 hours, then you are awake after that. But you see it is dark. There is no Sandhya, no dusk, no dawn. So then your religious activities are lost, and the demigods are the first ones to be influenced by this because they become powerless. They get power from all this. So they got worried. So it says, Satvam vidhastvam sham bhuman, bring peace to us, because all the karmas are getting lost, people are suffering. So bring auspiciousness to them. We have taken your shelter, and please glance, because your grace is very great. Adhabradaya drishtya apannan arhasi ikshitam. So it deserves for you to glance at it mercifully with your unfathomable grace. So they are referring now to the trouble. Tamsa ahoratra vibhaga bhavena. Because of darkness there was no division of day and night. Apannan asman, we are surrendered to you. Adhabradaya analpa kripya. Your unlimited grace, please help us. So then they are saying themselves, Esha deva ditar garbha oja kashyapam arpitam visastimiriyan sarva vardhate agniri vaidhansa. So these demigods, devas, they also knew this, that this is the womb in Diti from Kashyapa. He says that just as the fire increases when you put some fuel into it, some wood, in the same way this womb of Diti from Kashyapa, it is spreading all around. It's increasing and spreading darkness all around. So this is our problem. So Sri Vishnu Thakur says that Aho nanu vishesh varta bruta. Brahma said, enough of this praise, tell me what's your problem. I know that I am omniscient, I know that I am the creator, I know all this. What do you want? Come to the point. Don't waste time. So then they described that problem, this Diti's pregnancy. So Brahma, he heard it and he realized that there is nothing I can do about it. So what he can do? When he cannot, someone comes to ask you something and you cannot help, then what do? Tell him a story. Right? Keep him busy. Finally he will forget why he came. He will leave. So Brahma will do the same thing. So Maitreya Uvacha. Maitreya said, Saprahasya Mahabaho Bhagavan Shabda Gochara Pratyachashtayatma Bhur Devan Prinam Ruchriyagya. So when Brahma heard this, he started laughing. Usually we never hear Brahma laughing. He looks very serious all the time. We hear Krishna smiling and Krishna joking, but we never hear Brahma that he ever laughs. He is a very serious person. Because he is a Brahmana, learned, he is like grandfather. Grandfathers are serious people. So he actually laughed. Prahasya actually means he really laughed loudly, not just smiled. Because in Sanskrit, Smiling means smitam. He says prahasya. He had a loud laugh. He says, look at these fellows. So Bhagavan Shabda Gochara, Bhagavan Brahma, he laughed, and with his sweet voice, giving pleasure to the devas, then he started speaking as follows. So laughing means he is relieving them of their anxiety. Because if someone is happy and you go, even if you are in distress, by seeing that other person happy, you also feel a little jovial. And if you see somebody is very gloom and doom, then you also become gloomy. So Brahma was trying to disperse the tension of the devas, and he spoke very beautiful, sweet voice, Ruchira Gira, not harsh, but very attractive words. He said, Pratyachaste Atambhur Devam Prinam, pleasing, which was very pleasing to them. So what did he say? Brahma said, now he is going to tell a very long story. It is very interesting. It's an amazing story. Usually you don't hear such stories. Even Harry Potter is not like this. It says, Mansa me suta yusmat purvaja sankade cheru vihayasa lokan lokesu vigataspriya. He says that I have sons. Brahma has many sons, but these are sons born from his mind. Mansa, Sutta. Sutta means son and Manasa means from the mind. And Yusmat Purvaja, and says that they are elder to all of you because they were the first ones. Sankadaya, headed by Sanaka. Sanaka is the first one, Sanandana, Sanat and Sanatana, 4 of them. So these 4 brothers, sons of Brahma, they are always together. They have such affection for each other that they never leave the association of others. Or wherever they go, whatever they do, they are together. So we read about them that Brahma ordered them to marry and produce children, and they flatly refused. This is the first time in the history that the son is born and immediately refusing to follow the father. Right? It's not only now that children are talking back to the father, but it happened in the very, very beginning of creation. Of course, they had a very high purpose. They did not want to get into the samsara, the material world, create children, and then you have to bother about feeding them, send to school, you have to buy books for them, cloth, then gift for Christmas. So, so many troubles. They didn't want that. They wanted to meditate on Brahman. So that was a better reason to do that. And they wander from one place to another place because they are like avdhutas. They don't stay in one place. So cheru vihayasa. Only thing is that they don't travel walking by feet. They have the power that they can go by air without any airline. They have their own airline called Kumara Airlines.
Good to know.
So he says Cheru Vihayasa. Vihayasa means sky. So they travel through skyline. And only thing is that they don't pollute although they travel by. And they don't need any fuel. Their aeroplane works without fuel. There is one book called Yagyavalkya Tantra, and in that there is a description of 37 types of planes, I have that book. How to make planes. And these 37 types of planes don't run on petrol or anything like that. They had mechanism before. So all these planes which are described here in the scripture, it is not just imagination. They actually had a technology how to make planes and fly them without using fuel. But this type of fuel, they could use water, they could use air, fire, or just sound. And these aeroplanes they did not need airports. They could take off from anywhere slowly, like birds take off. You see, birds are also flying without using any petrol. So these planes were also like that.
It is like the way that Narada is also going. This is also the way that Narada is also going.
Yeah, Narada is also going. Of course, Narada and these Kumaras, they are not going by planes. They just go by their mystic power. They have yogic powers. Just by thinking they can travel. Because they know how to control the material elements. You have studied Sankhya now. So just if you can make your body light, it will start floating up. So the yogis have power of Anima, Mahima, Laghima, Garima, Prapti. So they can become small, they can become light. So when they want to come down, they increase their body weight. Right? So then by the gravitation they start coming down. When they want to go up, they decrease their body weight. They become light like air, then they start going up. So they go. So they can travel. We read that they can even travel on the sun ray. They can walk. The yogis can actually walk on the ray of the sun. It's like you catch a rope and you can go up on the rope, they can go on the ray. You can do that. So there are different ways of traveling. Science only knows dealing with the gross matter. Science has not yet, of course in nuclear science they have learned how to tackle the subtle matter. But in yoga they can tackle even very, very subtle matter. So these stories are not false. It's like now we can talk through cell phone. So we have learned how to send sound from here to 10,000 kilometers away. Previously it was not possible, and if you told this to somebody, he will not believe. But now it is a reality. But in the yoga it was already written that yogis could hear and talk to far away place. So they also had all this technology before, but in a different manner. So the Kumaras, they also have all these mystic powers, because they are great realized people. So it says, Cheru Vihayasa Lokan Lokesu. So they were traveling from one planet to another planet. Space travel they were doing. Not just traveling on Earth, but going to different planets, meeting different people. They are known. And Vigata Spriya, they have no desire. They are not traveling for any purpose. That they want to see something or they want to enjoy somewhere. They are free. They are perfected beings. So they traveled. And then what happened? So the commentary is that Aho agya mame vastuvanti etad vipatti trane ko hamvaraka iti viruddho balan prativa prahasa. So Vishwanath Chakravarti is giving an explanation why Brahma was laughing. He gives a nice explanation. He says that Brahma was laughing, saying that look at these devas, they think that I know everything. He said just like when there is a grandfather and there is a small grandson. So grandson thinks that my grandfather knows everything. Or he can do anything. Usually small children, they think like this about their father or grandfather. That my father, my papa, you can do anything. Because father is like God to them. So Brahma, he knows that I am not what they are saying. So he was laughing. But look at this people. Anyway, let them think like this. Sabda devanam vigyapti vakyani tesham gochara vishay. And he was the object of words spoken by the devas. Etad vipat karanvatim prachinam adbhutam katham tavat shrunute. So he says, this trouble which has now arisen or has come into existence, I will tell a story about it. So listen very carefully. There is no solution for it, but at least sometimes you get pacified just by knowing why it is happening. Human mind is like that. Why this? Why this is happening? When you know that this is happening, there is no solution. So you say, okay, this is the reason. When you go home. So Brahma is going to tell the story. So he says, Tayekada Bhagavato Vakuntasya Malatmanaha Yayur Vakuntha Nilayam Sarvaloka Namaskritam. Says that while traveling from one planet to another planet, they went to Vakuntha. This is very amazing, because usually no one can enter in Vakuntha like this. Vakuntha is outside the material realm. We are reading that there are three creations, higher, middle and lower. But beyond this is the spiritual creation. And people of this world cannot go there. You can travel within the universe. You can go higher planets, lower planets. But nobody can enter into Vakuntha, because Vakuntha cannot be reached by any material means. To reach Vakuntha, you need spiritual power. So because Kumaras, they are spiritual beings, they are self-realized people, they had the facility to travel even to Vakuntha. Narada is also another person. Otherwise, even people like Kashyapa, they cannot go to Vakuntha. It's impossible. Even Brahma, when he goes, he only goes to the Kshir Sagar, he sits there, and from there he sends an SMS to Lord Vishnu. He cannot see Lord Vishnu. He just goes to the beach, and from there he sits in meditation and he sends short text message. And then Lord sends reply back, and then that message he gives to others. So even he is not able to enter Vaikuntha. He also tried when he was born, trying to figure out from where I was born. He could not find out. It is only after doing austerities for a long time, then Lord was merciful and he gave him a glimpse of his abode. But he was not able to enter. So these Kumaras, once they went to Vaikuntha, and Vaikuntha is called the abode of Lord Bhagavato Vaikunthaśya Amalatmana, who is pure. Amala Shuddha Bhavanti Atmano Antakarnani Yatastasya. So Vaikuntha means the place of no obstruction, because it is spiritual. There are no material problems there. So when they went there, then he describes Vaikuntha. Now there is a very big description of Vaikuntha. I think we will read that tomorrow. So usually you don't see any description of Vaikuntha planet in scriptures. You can hear about heaven, but description of Vaikuntha is very rare. So now a description of Vaikuntha and the people who are living there, what do they do? This is given. An idea is so that we can get a concept and become desirous of going to such a place. Heaven is described, but you go to heaven, you come back from there. And this is a very special place. And only very special people can go there. So there will be very nice description of Vaikuntha coming up. There are only 2-3 places where Vaikuntha is described. Once when Brahma saw the vision, and now he is going to describe.
Now Vaikuntha is an entirely different dimension, transcendental, spiritual. Is it actually possible to reveal this dimension or describe this dimension with our words, with the sound of this world?
Yes, it's possible.
Is it possible with the brain of this world, the intelligence of this world, to understand Vaikuntha's description? That's the next step.
Well, if it is described, it must be possible, otherwise what is the point in describing it? People of this world cannot understand it.
Yeah, or is it
Then
just
it is useless to describe.
is it described in such a particular way that we can grasp it?
Yes. It is,
Although in reality it may
is-
not really.
it is toned down to our level.
Yes.
It is described so that we can have a feel of it, some concept,
As a
idea.
stimulation
That is the idea. Otherwise, material mind cannot understand or grasp anything about Vaikuntha.
because we cannot even imagine what is a place without fear. What that feels like. So then what do we use according to the Brahmanas? What do we use? Anuman? If this is fearful, if this place is fearful, then a place without fear must be like this.
Yeah, this is Anuman. I mean, if you just accept 3 pramanas, then it is called Anumana pramana. Otherwise, in Advaita Vedanta or in
Shakta.
Purvamamsa, they have one more. They have 6 pramanas. One of them is called Anuplabdhi pramana. Unavailability. Because you don't see a book on the table, therefore book is not there. So that is called Anuplabdhi. But we accept only 3, so then it will come within Anuman. And in the beginning Anumana, but ultimately it has to be realized through Shabda.
It was mentioned in the beginning that some people, they worship Brahma as the same with Vishnu. What is the difference in that and the offense to the holy name of saying Vishnu?
I did not say same, I said non-different.
Non-different from Vishnu.
Yeah.
So is that the same as the Nama Parad of seeing Shiva and Brahma is the same as Vishnu?
No.
No.
Same and different, same and non-different have different meaning. Same means same. And non-different means that he is not independent. It's like this world is not different from the Lord. It is not different, it is one with Him, but it is not same. So we don't say that they are different, but we deny oneness.
Only half.
We don't say that they are different, but we deny their oneness.
So we could not say it's just an energy.
Means that they are not one, but they are not different.
Oh God.
That's why I say that we don't say that they are different, but we deny their oneness.
Means they're not one.
That's getting into hair splitting, isn't it?
That is getting into the reality. Because reality is like that. Only thing is that we think always that it is one or it is different. There two things are same or they are different. But things are different from both. They are neither one nor different. They are same simultaneously, one and different. So this is the proper understanding that everything is one. But this does not mean that there is no difference or there is no variety. Or everything is same, like Brahman. Wherever you go, no, that is not true.
So this one and the one is same and different together, simultaneously, is you said is the reality.
That is reality.
I have another question regarding this being in the womb of Diti for 100 years, or in the case of Shukadeva Goswami for 16 years. Is this now factual, or is it just let's say a poetic device to give more, to make these personalities even more outstanding? Because it was such a problem to take birth.
I think it is a combination of both. There must have been a longer period of pregnancy, if not 100, maybe double. Because there are sometimes people who are born in 12 months or 14 months. So there must be more than usual.
So it's not just the Bhagavatam's using poetic language.
Even I'm saying, even if poetic language is used, it's not completely false.
But if we start to say that it might be not exactly that way, then we have to start doubting
Why doubting?
No, I mean, if we say, they say 100, so if we start to say maybe it was not 100, then we have to start say like this, or they give so many details, they are not just as they are.
Yeah, but everything is not like that. There is a mixture of facts and exaggeration. This is one type of alankar also, which is called Atishayokti alankar. You know Atishayokti. Atishaya means extra and ukti means statement. But if you say extra statement, does not mean that nothing is there. So 100 may be just a round figure. People like round figures. But it may be. Then another thing is that sometimes the word are used that Shatavarsham. So verse means year, and sometimes verse can mean months also. So it could be 100 months. So there are statements like this. So also you have to see that how she was able to hold the pregnancy for so long.
Yeah, that's why.
She must be trying some yogic powers to do that.
Yeah, because otherwise by the time they took birth they must have been old men. Or, I don't know.
Yeah, and then they have to be only cesarean.
But now the whole that
them out
incident
anymore.
took place on Earth or on heavenly planets, right?
I think this is
Svarga.
in the upper planets.
So since Svarga is more subtle,
Yeah.
then that explains the possibility.
Right. And their period is different from our period.
They were all a little bit more
So
divine.
we're talking our time, and so let's say it was their time.
Our 6 months are there one day.